Today we are doing the traditional BD drift breakdown. These are one of my favorite videos to create. I pretty much go through my runs and tell you what I can improve on. So this was my 6th event at Club Loose. This is my, I think, 3rd here at Club Loose, Englishtown. Had a great time, learned a lot, and while I was in New Hampshire, me and Mike played a set of Corsa, and we downloaded the Englishtown track, so it helped me to get my timing a little bit, but realistically I was coming here a little uncertain of my skills on how I was going to perform that day. So basically we're going to run through my runs. I'm going to tell you what I can improve on and things I can keep moving forward, things I need to work on, things I did good, everything in between. So let's get cracking at my very first run. So I started off the day at C class, so this is the lowest class you start out in, basically the learners class, and I was somewhat confident going in. I knew that after Ready Set Drift I was ready to put it towards a road course. Again, I always try to break my wheels loose right off the bat just to see what type of grip I'm getting. So I initiate, and right there I should have not lifted as much and throw it just a little harder, but I throw it in, I do a little correction. My hands are all over because I'm just worried about staying on track. That's my whole goal, is just staying on track and getting through the whole course. What I usually do, if I'm not feeling confident in my line, I'll straighten up and reset and attack the next turn coming up. Continue, initiate, I feel comfortable, and throttle control is correct. Hands are a little all over, but transition the weight properly. Kind of all over the place, a little too much correction, but we get through the turn and we link the 2nd and 3rd turn. Feeling okay. My car, for some reason, smokes the first run of all events, but 2nd run, looking all right. Kind of overcorrecting. I could have ran a wider line, so let's back up. Once I get over the hill, so I'm facing inside. What I could have done was not straighten out, but just corrected myself to straighten up just for a hair, pointed myself in the opposite direction, kind of a manji. Stayed in the throttle a little longer and linked it. Actually, no, I did link it, never mind. I don't know what I'm doing. That run was okay. Oh, here we go. This is what we're at. So once I was feeling good, my speed was up, but I transitioned my weight too quick and I spun out. I learned later in that day that to transition into that, you kind of have to cut your speed just a hair, just to be able to grip up for a second and get around the turn and transition your weight back properly. So this is the 3rd run. I'm going to lose track easily. I'm kind of all over the place just for the fact that I'm still trying to apply the skills that I learned at Ready Set Drift onto the road course, because the road course was a little more difficult. If you see, I just kind of take the first turn, straighten up, and then reinitiate for the 2nd and 3rd. I wasn't comfortable with transitioning my weight that quick on the 1st and 2nd turn, so it took me a couple runs to get that down. But the 2nd and 3rd kind of came natural to me because it kind of puts you in the right setup. Let's go back to this. Let's go to initiation. So I initiate. Initiation's fine. Okay, right there, I could have ran my line way wider. So instead of hurrying up correcting myself on the inner side of the track, I could have took it wider for that split second and tried to elongate that drift, I guess you could say. I run an inside line, which doesn't set me up properly for the 2nd turn. Transfer my weight. I could have been a little bit more on the throttle during that transition, Okay, after the 4th or 5th run, Willie is our instructor. He puts a camera on my car. At this point, I kind of had a feeling that I was going to get bumped up, somewhat linking the course, 3 out of 5 times. And I felt real comfortable. I didn't spin out, didn't go off track. It was just more so throttle control, and the proper line is what I had to work on. So this next run, I'm super panicky. I'm all over the place because I know he's filming me, and I want to make sure that I link the whole course. The first turn was okay, a little inside, but I was trying to keep it inside today because I keep going wide. Transition, quick manji. I could have elongated that, but I kept it inside. I transitioned my weight probably too much, and you see I try to correct myself real quick, go to full lock, and it brings myself around the turn. This wasn't a smooth run by a long shot, but I got through a track. This is when he bumped me to B class. I was so happy. I was blown away about me getting into B class. It was something that I didn't expect to come so soon. So with B class, you go on the front track, and the front track's easier to drive, easier to drift, but it's harder to transition, link the whole course. I've been on this track for one event during a rain event, and I wasn't 100% comfortable with it, but I knew the proper lines to take. So you have a long straightaway. I just want to run. This is my first run. I just want to talk you through the proper line as well as what the track setup is like. So I threw it in second. You have like a J turn left. You want to take it wide, transition out to get the long sweeper, and then it tightens up, and you have two options. The most taken route is the inside line, so the line to the right. There's also a wider option that you can take to the left. I only took to the left ones if I was bringing in too much momentum and I had no choice but to take that manji and transition to the second turn, or the J turn, into a hairpin. And at this point I wasn't ready for the bank. I literally went for the bank my second run, which is ironic because I was like, oh, I'm not going to do the bank until I'm comfortable. So I throw it in for my second run. I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling confident because I've yet to spin out consecutively today during this event. So I was feeling real confident, just kind of getting used to the lines and getting used to the way my car was reacting. And I was pretty happy with the performance. So if you see here, I take it wide, and at this point you can see my hands hesitate, right? Okay, so right, you see my hands want to straighten up, but I know that I'm in the right position, so I set myself up to transition into the bank. So you'll see my hand steer to the right just a hair, just to elongate the transition, face the wall for a second, and then have my car self-steer around the turn and make minor adjustments. So I was thrilled about this. I was happy that I was able to transition into the bank fairly easily. After a while, I started getting a little bit more comfortable with this track. I've noticed that you need to lower your speed into the second turn, or else you'll literally hit the middle and catch your wheel and spin right around. So throughout the day, I figured out that when you were transitioning into the second turn, if you were to lift just a little bit, you'll slow down your speed, and you'll be able to then pick what line you wanted to go, or if you wanted to transition all that speed through, you'd be able to go the wider route. But I honestly did not go the wider route unless if I was bringing in way too much speed and had no other choice. So later on in the day, it started to rain during A class, and by the time I went out again, it was damp. But luckily, I have plenty of experience on driving in the wet. So this run is my third session, I believe, in the day. It was pretty wet outside to the point where it was very low on the throttle, just kind of practicing the line. So this is actually like kind of one of my best runs, just for the fact that the line I took and my car control, not necessarily overall speed. So I throw it in, and I now have a feel for how my car is going to react in the wet. So transition, You could always hear me lift right around here, just to lower my speed, and then I get back on it. Manji into the next turn. And then right here you'll see, or you'll hear, the pavement changes and it becomes literally an ice skating rink around this hairpin. I guess it's a little bit of older pavement, I'm not sure, but it's unbelievably slick. Alright, so now it starts to get patchy. This is when it's kind of, I have to keep making correction as it gets slippery versus the dry spots. I have to figure out and make my adjustments for when I hit the dry spots versus when it's wet. I transitioned a little too heavy and think I'm going to spin out, but I just apply a little bit of foot brake just to gain my composure, let it go to full lock, and I get right back on the throttle. That way I can balance out the car. So kind of a natural thing. I planned on it, but I didn't really, it just happened by serendipity. I really thought I was going to spin out, but I just did what I thought was going to be the best alternative to correct myself, and it worked some magical way. Feeling confident at this point, very relaxed. Having music really helped me during this event. At this point it started to dry up just a hair. I really started to kind of get the feel for the whole track, and you can see my hands are a little cleaner, and I was kind of prepared to make the proper adjustments needed. Towards later in the runs, I started getting really comfortable with transitioning and working on self-steering. You'll see me a lot of times, instead of just overcompensating on my steering, I'd let it self-steer just like little by little, and I started to get really comfortable with how the car was going to react on the track. This is when the event really started getting fun for me, because there's nothing better than just making minor corrections and just going along for the ride. So right there on the bang, what I could have done better was when I transitioned into the wall to transition around the bang, I could have held it at just a little longer, so that way I was set up for the right line on the bank. I was way inside, way short for that turn. So right there, what I should have done was give it a little bit more throttle on the exit of the second turn, just because I'm so used to carrying way too much speed around that turn. You got to really understand how fast you're going. Sometimes you're going to get lost in what you're doing, but I should have understood that I needed more speed and gave it more throttle. That's why I straightened up just a little too much. You can see I transitioned my weight way too much, and what I did was I lifted just a hair just to slow my speed down, as if I was going to slide sideways, and then reinitiate it and let my car to go to full lock, and compensated for when I was going to need to be straightened up. So these are just things I've learned kind of naturally. I didn't plan on doing it, or I didn't know to do that, but it worked for me. So if you're gonna spin out, if you lift just a little bit and you just reinitiate and then compensate for when the car is gonna need to drive straight, that's what saved me on that turn. I think overall I could have used a little bit more throttle, and you'll see during the last runs I'm going a lot faster than I originally was when on my first 5 or 6 runs. I need to get a little deeper in the throttle. It's hard because with my transmission, I redline so quick. It redlines to like 7 grand. So I'm like, yep up, yep up, yep up. So I try my best to balance and stay high in the, deep in the throttle. But it's a balance that I still need to learn, still need to get comfortable with. But as the day went on, I really got comfortable with the car and going a little faster as the day progressed, and I got a little bit more comfortable. After you do the same line over and over, you kind of get a feel for exactly what you need to do, and also you anticipate the transitions previous or prior to the end. Alright, so this is the last run. I knew this was the last run. I really wanted to do well, so this is probably my best run leading up to the bank. So I was super excited. I was like, oh, I know I want this to be my best run. So I transitioned, got in the throttle, was going for it, and running all the correct proper lines, which was super exciting. And then I was like, you know what, I want to run high on the bank. So I transitioned as I usually do, but I held it in just a little bit, but then all of a sudden I spun out. And luckily, Mike always says when you're about to spin out, always hit the brake. Always, no matter what, whether you spin out backwards, you always want to anticipating rolling into something, hitting something, so you always want to make sure that you're gonna prevent yourself from hitting things. So luckily, I did. As soon as I knew I was gonna spin out, I got on the foot brake and I steered the car to spin out and not hit the wall, because I was extremely close to that wall. That it concludes my BD drift breakdown. I hope you guys like this video. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you have any suggestions, anything I need to work on. I have yet to use my e-brake. I have no idea why, but hopefully in the future I will master left foot braking, different foot braking stuff, and all that good stuff. Better steering, better throttle control. I really want to keep progressing, and making these videos honestly help me. It helps me realize what I did wrong in that day, because as the day goes by, you kind of think, oh man, I did well today. I'm proud of myself, and as you should be, because we're continuing to work and continuing to improve. So with that, I leave you guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Post in the comments below what your favorite part of this video was, as well as what you'd like to see in the future. Do you like my drift breakdowns? Do you want to see different styles of drift breakdowns? I really enjoy it, like I said. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys have a wonderful Wednesday. Enjoy your day. Happy frackin' Wednesday, guys. We love you. Today we were running around like crazy, but it's a long story. I'll catch up with you tomorrow, and tomorrow will be a update video for something we've all been wondering. So stay tuned. We love you guys. Happy freaking Wednesday.
I don't know what I'ma do, I don't know where I'ma live, cause I feel like I ain't got nothing to give. Just wanna follow my dreams, just wanna follow my heart, but the world wanna tear me apart right from the start. Everything I ever wanted, it ain't what I thought. Bring it back to the roots like my name Black Thought. This shit right here, no, it can't be taught. It gotta be learned, it gotta be earned. I ain't got a pocket full of money, but I'm full of hope.